Today, we uncover the shocking truth about UK deodorants. Earlier this year, the UK government officially banned a chemical called 4-MBC from every deodorant sold in Britain. Not because of a mild rash, not because of a minor side effect, but because official scientific advisors concluded it's an endocrine disruptor. It messes with your hormones, it can harm your reproductive health. But here's the scandal nobody's talking about. Products already on the market before the ban took effect can continue selling until January 2027. That means right now, as you watch this, there are deodorants on Tesco shelves containing a government-banned hormone disruptor. And that's not even the worst part. Many women are starting to understand something most people don't. They understand that what you swipe under your arms every single morning isn't just about staying fresh. It's absorbing directly into tissue connected via major lymph channels to your breasts. Between 2021 and 2022, major UK deodorant brands were recalled for benzene contamination. That's a known carcinogen that causes leukemia. Some batches contain 17.7 parts per million, 9 times the emergency safety limit. The EPA's drinking water limit for benzene is 5 parts per billion. Your armpits were getting 17,700 parts per billion. A 12-year-old UK boy experienced severe health complications from excessive use of a popular body spray. Women are reporting chemical burns from products they trusted for decades, with people showing photographs of permanently scarred armpits. The products responsible are still on shelves. Companies aren't reformulating. They're just waiting for the lawsuits to settle quietly. Your bathroom cabinet probably contains at least one of the brands we're about to expose. The pink can your daughter uses. The roll on your husband's had for 10 years. The gentle moisturizing deodorant you chose specifically because it seems safe. They're all hiding something the marketing doesn't mention. Aluminium compounds that accumulate in breast tissue. Preservatives banned across Europe, but perfectly legal here in Britain. Fragrance formulations that can hide dozens of undisclosed chemicals behind a single word. Antibacterial agents creating drug-resistant superbugs in your armpits. So, we've gone through the major brands currently sold in UK supermarkets and will expose the 10 deodorant products you need to avoid, plus the scandal of so-called natural deodorants hiding forever chemicals. Then I'll tell you the 5 alternatives that you can actually trust and use daily. These aren't theoretical recommendations, these are products real people switched to when they couldn't risk the chemicals anymore. Before we dive in, I need your help with something. The deodorant industry is worth millions, and they'd rather you didn't know what we're about to reveal. If you think this information matters, if you believe people deserve to know what they're absorbing through their skin every day, hit that hype button right now. It's not just about supporting this channel. When you hype this video, you're pushing it out to more people. You're forcing the algorithm to show this to families who are still using these products without knowing the risks. You're creating pressure on these companies to actually change their formulas, because when enough people stop buying, they have to listen. The hype button is how we fight back against marketing budgets worth millions. Your single click makes this video visible to someone who needs it, maybe a mum buying deodorant for her teenage daughter. So don't just watch. Hype this video because awareness is the first step to change. And let's get into it. Number 10. Dove Advanced Care. For decades, Dove has marketed itself as the gentle choice, the brand that respects your skin. The deodorant with 1/4 moisturizing cream. The packaging is soft, feminine, reassuring. Your bathroom probably has Dove sitting there right now. Maybe you've used it for 20 years, but that gentle promise hides something the marketing doesn't mention. Dove Advanced Care contains aluminium zirconium tetrachlorohydrex gly, the same clinical strength aluminium found in maximum protection formulas. This isn't a gentle alternative, it's the same aggressive chemical wrapped in softer packaging. That aluminium absorbs through tissue and accumulates in areas closest to where you apply it. Researchers found aluminium in breast tissue samples at concentrations 4 to 5 times higher in the outer quadrant nearest the armpit. But here's where the betrayal deepens. Dove also contains parabens, specifically methylparaben and propylparaben. These preservatives mimic estrogen in your body. A 2004 study in the Journal of Applied Toxicology detected parabens in 18 of 20 breast tumor samples. The parabens were at higher concentrations in the upper outer quadrant, closest to the armpit, suggesting they came from topical application like deodorant. The European Union restricts paraben concentrations in leave on products applied to the underarm area. British regulations, barely any. Dove continues using parabens at concentrations that would require reformulation for European markets, and Dove also contains propylene glycol, which helps other ingredients penetrate skin more effectively. It helps those aluminium compounds and synthetic fragrances absorb more deeply. For women who chose Dove because the gentle marketing suggested safety, you're applying estrogen mimics and clinical strength aluminium to tissue connected to your breasts. Dove's parent company is Unilever, which owns 54% of the UK deodorant market. Dove is their flagship for women, marketed as gentle whilst delivering the same chemical exposure as their aggressive brands. Number 9. Sure Maximum Protection. Sure is everywhere in Britain. Tesco, Asda, Sainsbury's, it's the UK's #1 deodorant brand. The packaging promises 48-hour protection, and in recent years, they've pushed whole-body technology. You can now buy Sure whole-body deodorant for £5.25. They want you using deodorant on your chest, your thighs, anywhere you might sweat, effectively tripling consumption whilst exposing more skin to the same chemicals. The original Sure formulas contain 20% aluminium zirconium tetrachlorohydrex (GLI), one of the highest concentrations approved. That's maximum strength aluminium, creating temporary plugs in your sweat glands, but the brand has been reformulated multiple times over the years. Users online consistently report that it doesn't work anymore, that the formula changed. Companies reformulate to cut costs, they adjust ingredient ratios, change suppliers, all to save fractions of a penny per unit. Those reformulations mean the Sure you bought in 2015 isn't the same Sure you're buying in 2026, even though the label looks identical. You trusted a product that no longer exists in the same form. And whilst reformulating to save money, they raised prices. Sure used to be £2 to £3, now their whole body range is £5.25. You're paying more for a reformulated product that doesn't work as well. In 2022, Sure aerosol sprays in the US were recalled for benzene contamination. Benzene is a carcinogen that causes leukemia. The recall didn't extend to UK products, but manufacturing processes are often shared across markets. It raises questions about quality control and whether contamination affected batches sold here. Sure also contains propylene glycol, the same penetration enhancer found in Dove. The typical Sure aerosol also contains butane, isobutane, and propane as propellants. Those are the same gases in camping stoves. When you spray that cloud, you're breathing in hydrocarbon propellants. The UK's #1 deodorant is owned by Unilever, the same company that owns Dove. They dominate through marketing budgets and shelf space, quietly reformulating, raising prices, and pushing whole-body products to increase consumption. Number 8. Nivea Deodorant. The iconic blue brand, recognized across Europe for over a century. German engineering, heritage, trust. For 50-plus Britons, Nivea isn't just a brand. It's a memory. The little blue tin has been in bathroom cabinets for generations. But German heritage doesn't equal German safety. Nivea deodorants contain aluminium chlorohydrate at concentrations high enough to alter your sweat glands. They also use synthetic fragrances that can legally hide thousands of undisclosed chemicals behind the word parfum. The Advertising Standards Authority has actually banned Nivea adverts for making false health claims about aluminium. Nivea tried to market products by implying aluminium is dangerous, suggesting their 0% aluminium versions were safer. The ASA said you can't make that claim. The irony is Nivea wanted to capitalize on consumer concern whilst their main range still contains plenty of aluminium. Even their 0% aluminium versions contain fragrance allergens, phenoxyethanol, and synthetic preservatives. And then there's the applicator issue. Many Nivea formulations use roll-on applicators. Each time you swipe that ball across your armpit, you're transferring bacteria and dead skin cells back into the bottle. The next morning, You're reapplying yesterday's bacteria. The plastic balls can develop microscopic cracks, creating hiding spots for mold. The white residue Nivea leaves on clothing is visual evidence of chemical transfer. If it's staining your shirt permanently, what's it doing to your tissue? Nivea also contains BHT, butylated hydroxytoluene, a preservative banned in food products across Japan and several European nations, but deemed acceptable to rub on your skin. Number 7. Lynx Body Spray. Lynx built an empire on teenage boys and their desperate hope that a body spray would make them irresistible. You know the adverts, women literally chasing men down the street because of how they smell. It's absurd, of course, but the marketing worked. Lynx became a cultural phenomenon, and it's now the UK's #1 deodorant with over £91 million in sales last year. The distinctive cans, the unmistakable fragrances, the promises of attraction and confidence. But that aerosol cloud you spray contains something the adverts don't mention. A 12-year-old UK boy experienced severe health complications from using too much Lynx body spray. The case made headlines because it revealed something most people never consider. These products, marketed to teenagers with images of success and attraction, can cause serious harm when used the way teenagers actually use them. Heavy application in enclosed spaces like bedrooms and bathrooms, multiple sprays throughout the day. Inhalation of the aerosol cloud with every use. Lynx aerosols contain propellants, synthetic fragrances, and phthalates concentrated into a fine mist that penetrates deep into lung tissue. The aerosol mist particles, invisible to the naked eye, can bypass your body's natural defenses and lodge in areas where they can't be easily expelled. For young people with undiagnosed asthma or developing respiratory sensitivities, Lynx may create breathing problems that get attributed to poor fitness rather than chemical exposure. But the respiratory concerns are just the beginning. The phthalates in Lynx's fragrance blends are endocrine disruptors. They interfere with hormone function during critical developmental windows. Teenage boys, the primary target demographic, are going through hormonal changes that these chemicals may potentially affect. Research suggests phthalate exposure during adolescence raises questions about long-term concerns. You're 16, trying to impress someone, and you don't realize you're affecting your developing system. The propellants themselves, typically butane and propane, the same gases in camping stoves, can cause dizziness and headaches in enclosed spaces. The scent lingers on clothes and bedding for hours, continuing exposure long after application. And because it's an aerosol, you're getting the highest possible dose of both propellant gases and undisclosed fragrance chemicals every single time you spray. Lynx targets the demographic least likely to read ingredient labels or question what they're spraying. Teenage boys trust the brand their mates use. Lynx is owned by Unilever, the same company behind Dove and Sure. They market Lynx to boys with images of sexual success, Dove to women with images of gentle care, and Sure to everyone with images of reliability. Different packaging, different stories, same parent company controlling 54% of the UK market. If you've got teenage boys or grandchildren in the house, check their rooms. Are there Lynx cans lined up on the dresser? Number 6. Old Spice Deodorant. The red and white nautical packaging with the ship. The classic scent of confident manhood that spans generations. Your father used it. Maybe your grandfather too. Old Spice markets itself on timeless reliability, on masculine tradition, on a fragrance that hasn't changed much in 50 years. For 50-plus men, Old Spice isn't just a deodorant. It's a memory of watching your dad get ready for work every morning. It's nostalgia in a bottle, but that nostalgic fragrance hides something the marketing never mentions. In 2021, Procter & Gamble voluntarily recalled specific Old Spice aerosol spray products after testing detected benzene, a known carcinogen that causes leukemia. The recall covered all lots with expiration dates through September 2023. But here's what made the recall truly shocking. Some batches, specifically 2 lots of Old Spice Pure Sport antiperspirant, contained 17.7 and 17.4 average parts per million of benzene. That's nearly 9 times the upper limit of 2 parts per million the FDA has set for emergency use. To put that in perspective, the EPA's limit for benzene in drinking water is 5 parts per billion. These Old Spice batches had 17,700 parts per billion. Your armpits were getting exposure levels nearly 4,000 times higher than what's considered safe in water. The benzene contamination came from the aerosol propellant system, not the deodorant formula itself. But it raises a critical question. If the propellant manufacturing partner had contamination issues serious enough to require a recall, and that same partner is still being used, what confidence do you have that the problem is actually solved? Procter & Gamble stated that based on cancer risk models, the levels detected would not be expected to cause adverse health effects from daily use. But benzene has no safe threshold for long-term exposure. There is no amount of a carcinogen that's considered harmless when you're applying it daily for years or decades. Beyond the benzene issue, Old Spice contains a complex blend of over 40 undisclosed chemicals in its fragrance. Many of these are known skin sensitizers, according to the Environmental Working Group's database. The fragrance you recognize from childhood isn't a simple essential oil or natural scent. It's a carefully constructed chemical mixture, and you have no idea what most of those chemicals actually are. Old Spice also contains high alcohol content, often around 60% by volume. That's higher than most vodkas. This concentration strips away your skin's natural protective oils, leaving your underarm skin vulnerable to inflammation and accelerated breakdown. The classic scent you trusted, the one that reminds you of your father, is masking modern dangers your father never knew about. Number 5. Mitchum Advanced Control. Mitchum promises clinical protection that won't quit on you. The medical-sounding name suggests doctor-approved safety, hospital-grade protection. The packaging even uses clinical white and blue colors to reinforce that association. For decades, Mitchum marketed itself with one simple tagline: so effective, you could skip a day. That exceptional staying power, that clinical strength promise, convinced millions this was the serious option. But in 2024, something went terribly wrong. Users across the UK started reporting their skin felt like it was burning. Not mild irritation, not a bit of redness. Severe pain, blistering, and in some cases, permanent scarring. The reports came in waves. Social media filled with photographs of destroyed underarms, angry red rashes spreading down the chest, skin weeping clear fluid that wouldn't stop. The Office for Product Safety and Standards, the government body responsible for keeping you safe, issued a formal safety alert. Mitchum was forced to withdraw specific batches from sale across the UK, Ireland, and South Africa. The company acknowledged that a manufacturing change had altered how one of the raw materials interacted with skin. That's corporate speak for, we changed something to save money, didn't test it properly, and it's now causing chemical burns. But here's what makes the Mitchum situation particularly disturbing. Some users report discoloration that looks like bruising even after the rash healed, darkened armpits that won't return to normal, tissue damage that dermatologists can't fully reverse. These aren't minor complaints about irritation, these are people whose skin was permanently altered by a product they trusted for years. Mitchum's parent company is Revlon, which filed for bankruptcy in 2022. Financial instability raises questions about quality control and safety testing budgets. When companies are under financial stress, corners get cut, testing gets reduced, ingredient sources get cheaper, equipment maintenance gets deferred. You're trusting your skin to a product made by a company in financial crisis, and the results showed in the chemical burns. Number 4. Brute Original. The green bottle. The boxing imagery, the macho marketing that dominated the 70s and 80s, Henry Cooper splashing it all over. Brute was the scent of a generation of British men, and for many over 50, it remains a sentimental favourite, a connection to younger years. The packaging hasn't changed much in decades. It promises timeless reliability, the classic scent of confidence. But nostalgia isn't a reason to ignore what's actually in the bottle. In 2022, Brute aerosol deodorants were recalled for benzene contamination, just like Old Spice and Sure. The recall affected multiple markets and confirmed that the contamination issue wasn't limited to one brand or one manufacturer, it was systemic across aerosol deodorant production. Benzene in the propellants, benzene in products millions of people were spraying directly onto their skin and breathing into their lungs every single day. But Brut's problems go beyond benzene. The formula contains cyclopentasiloxane, a silicone compound that helps the product glide smoothly and creates that distinctive texture. Sounds harmless until you learn that the European Union has classified cyclopentasiloxane as a reproductive toxicant since 2019. The EU banned it from rinse-off cosmetics specifically because of concerns about its effects on reproductive health. Britain, even after leaving the EU, still allows it in deodorants at concentrations that would be restricted across the channel. You're applying a reproductive toxicant every morning because UK regulations haven't caught up to European safety standards. Brut also contains high concentrations of alcohol, which delivers that cooling sensation when you spray it on, but strips natural oils from your skin and disrupts the protective barrier. Regular application of high alcohol products accelerates skin damage. The fragrance in Brut is famously intense, created through a complex blend of synthetic aromatic compounds. Some of these include oak moss absolute, which has been restricted in European cosmetics regulations due to its sensitizing potential. That overpowering smell isn't confidence. It's undisclosed fragrance chemicals protected as trade secrets, and some of them are on regulatory watch lists. Number 3. Boots and Superdrug store brands. When you're watching your budget, when the name brand deodorants seem overpriced, the store brand alternatives look tempting. Boots and Superdrug both offer own-label deodorants at prices significantly lower than Dove, Sure, or Nivea. The packaging is simpler, the marketing is minimal, but surely the product inside is basically the same thing, just without the brand name markup. That's the logic anyway. But here's what budget pricing actually delivers. Ethical Consumer, an organization that rates companies and products on ethics and safety, specifically rates Boots house brands near the bottom of their scoring system, not middle of the pack, not acceptable with reservations, near the bottom. These aren't companies cutting costs on marketing and passing savings to you. These are companies cutting costs on ingredients, on testing, on quality control, and selling you whatever meets the legal minimum. If Sure and Brut, major brands with reputations to protect, had benzene contamination serious enough to trigger recalls, what confidence do you have that budget store brands are testing their propellant suppliers? What makes you think Boots or Superdrug are running independent contamination checks on aerosol batches? The honest answer is, they probably aren't, because testing costs money and budget brands are built on minimizing costs. Store brand deodorants hide everything possible under the word fragrance. No disclosure of what chemicals make up that scent, no transparency about sources, no accountability when batches vary in quality or safety. You're buying a black box of undisclosed ingredients at the cheapest possible price. The formula might contain the same aluminium compounds, parabens, and propylene glycol as premium brands. But you have no way to know if concentrations are consistent, if ingredients are sourced from reputable suppliers, or if any safety testing happened beyond the bare legal minimum. Budget brands also tend to have inconsistent formulations across different production batches. The deodorant you bought in January might have different ingredient ratios than the one you buy in June, despite identical labeling. Premium brands, for all their flaws, at least maintain some consistency because reputation depends on it. Store brands have no reputation to protect. They exist to fill shelf space at the lowest possible cost. Number 2. Secret Clinical Strength. Secret is an American brand, owned by Procter & Gamble, and it's not as widely recognized in the UK as Dove or Sure. But it's available here, marketed as clinical strength protection with feminine packaging and the tagline, "Strong enough for a man, made for a woman." The pink containers suggest gentle care. The clinical strength designation implies doctor-approved safety. For women who want serious sweat protection, Secret positions itself as the premium American option. But Secret Clinical Strength has a problem that should disqualify it from UK shelves entirely. It contains methylisothiazolinone, a preservative that's been banned in the EU for use in leave-on products like antiperspirants. Let that sink in. The European Union, after reviewing scientific evidence, decided methylisothiazolinone is too dangerous to allow in products that stay on your skin. It's been banned in leave-on cosmetics across the EU since 2017. But Secret still uses it, and it's still legal to sell in Britain because UK regulations haven't caught up. Methyl isothiazolinone isn't just any preservative. It's also found in pesticides. The Environmental Protection Agency in the United States regulates it as a pesticide component and has restrictions on where it can be used. You're putting a pesticide ingredient on your skin, inches from your breast tissue, because an American company decided UK consumers don't deserve EU-level protection. The Environmental Working Group scored Secret clinical strength 9 out of 10, with 10 being the absolute worst rating. Secret also contains 20% aluminium zirconium tetrachlorohydrex, GLI, the maximum legal concentration. Clinical strength means maximum aluminium exposure, maximum dose of a banned European preservative, and maximum risk packaged in pink feminine marketing. The fact that Secret is American highlights a bigger problem. The UK has become a dumping ground for products that wouldn't pass European safety standards. Companies know they can sell formulas here that are banned 20 miles across the channel because British regulations are slower, weaker, and less protective of consumers. Number 1. Products containing 4-MBC, Lilial, and M&M. We've talked about specific brands, but there's something worse. It's the regulatory failure that allows banned chemicals to remain on shelves for years after scientists conclude they're too dangerous. The UK government officially banned 4-MBC from deodorants. It's an endocrine disruptor. But products already on the market can continue selling until January 2027. A chemical the government has officially recognised as harmful is still sitting on Tesco shelves because of a regulatory loophole. You could walk into a supermarket today and buy a deodorant containing a government-banned hormone disruptor, completely legal. But 4-MBC isn't the only one. Lilial has been linked to reproductive toxicity. Studies suggest it may harm fertility and unborn children. Europe banned it years ago, yet products containing Lilial were still sold in the UK recently. Then there's M&M. By July 2026, products containing it above 0.1% must be removed. It's phototoxic, it causes severe skin reactions in sunlight, and it can form nitrosamines, potential carcinogens, but until July 2026, it's still legal. The natural deodorant scam deserves mention because it represents the final betrayal. You think, fine, I'll switch to natural deodorants. Brands like Each and Every, Attitude Humble. They market themselves as clean, conscious. But in 2025, Mammovation and Environmental Health News tested natural deodorants. 6 out of 15 products contained organic fluorine at levels up to 50 parts per million. Organic fluorine indicates PFAS, forever chemicals. PFAS don't break down in the environment or your body. They accumulate, they're linked to cancer, they suppress immune function. The brands testing positive for PFAS were marketed as natural, clean, and safe. You thought you were making a healthier choice. Instead, you were coating your armpits in forever chemicals that will stay in your body for life. But don't give up entirely because there are alternatives that actually work. When a breast cancer survivor switches deodorants, she's not doing it casually. The recommendations come from your community, from real people who've dealt with real health concerns. First, Salt of the Earth. Multiple breast cancer survivors specifically mention this brand. One viewer wrote, "After being diagnosed with advanced triple-negative breast cancer 15 years ago, I'm very particular about what deodorants I use. I now use Dr. Organics deodorants, or occasionally a Salt of the Earth crystal stick." Another viewer said, "Use potassium alum. I'm super sensitive and this is the only thing that works with no irritation. It also helps any eczema dry up." Salt of the Earth uses potassium alum, a naturally occurring mineral salt. The molecular structure is too large to be absorbed through skin. They stay on the surface, creating an environment where odor-causing bacteria can't thrive. You still sweat naturally. No synthetic fragrances means no phthalate exposure, no hormone disruption. Salt of the Earth is approved by Allergy UK and has ethical consumer scores between 73 and 80 out of 100. Available at Holland & Barrett, Boots, and Amazon. This is what breast cancer survivors choose. Second, Dr. Organics. They do both the lavender deodorant or the hemp, They don't have any parabens or toxic chemicals in them. Dr. Organics focuses on organic ingredients, no aluminium, no parabens, available on Amazon with consistently positive reviews. Third, Nivea. Nivea is certified organic, vegan, cruelty-free. Ethical consumer rates Nivea 73 to 80, which consumer tests praised it. A viewer wrote, "I use the brand Nivea. I do a physical job and I find it to be very good. It's a German brand, but very worth it." She does physical labor, meaning she's testing whether it works under real conditions. Fourth, Wild Deodorant. Wild uses tapioca starch, coconut oil, and baking soda, or for sensitive skin, rice starch instead. Aluminium-free, paraben-free, phthalate-free. Refillable system, compostable packaging. Which consumer tests in 2026 praised Wild? It has 4.5 out of 5 stars on Trustpilot from over 80,000 reviews. Wild is transparent about every ingredient, available at Sainsbury's, Holland and Barrett, and Marks & Spencer. There is a transition period when switching. Your body needs 2 to 3 weeks to clear accumulated aluminium. You might sweat more temporarily. This is detoxification, not product failure. Fifth, Biosin, Proverb, and other potassium alum options. Biosin Minerals as aluminium and paraben-free. Proverb is UK-based in Derbyshire with Cambridge formulation. They offer active, core, and sensitive ranges for different needs. These brands focus on transparent ingredients and thoughtful formulation. The pattern is the same: transparency, natural mineral salts instead of aluminium compounds, no parabens, no synthetic fragrances hiding phthalates. When breast cancer survivors are choosing Salt of the Earth and Dr. Organics, when someone doing physical labor says Nivea, works when 80,000 people give Wild 4.5 stars, that's not marketing. That's proof. So here's what you do next. Go check your bathroom cabinet. If you see Dove, Shaw, Nivea, Lynx, Old Spice, Mitchum, Brute, Boots' own brand, or Secret, you know what you're actually applying. Government-banned hormones that can legally sell until 2027. Benzene-contaminated propellants. EU-banned preservatives found in pesticides. Maximum aluminium accumulating in breast tissue. Parabens found in tumor tissue. Propylene glycol helping it all absorb deeper. Forever chemicals in products marketed as natural, all of it owned by companies that control 54% of the market. The information's out there now. You can't unknow it. If this video helped you, hit that hype button one more time. Every hype pushes this to someone else who needs it. Someone buying deodorant for their teenage son, someone with a family history of cancer, someone who trusted Dove for 30 years. They deserve to know. And drop a comment telling us which product shocked you most or which food we should investigate next, because we're not stopping here. The more people who know, the more pressure these companies face to actually change. Until next time, read your labels, question the marketing, and protect your plate.